Hello everyone. Greetings of the day. I, Mrs. Usha Vasani, welcome you all to Social Studies online classes. How was your Diwali break? I hope you all must have enjoyed to your fullest. So children, after a break, it's time to get back to school. So today we will start with a new chapter, that is chapter number 8, the Frigid Zone. I have divided this chapter in 4 parts, and today we will start with part 1. So let's begin. Students, we had learnt lesson of hot deserts in our first term. Then in new term, that is after Diwali break, we studied last week the chapter of temperate zone, temperate grasslands. Actually, these are the 3 heat zones which I had briefed you about in chapter number 4, that there are 3 heat zones in the world. One, that is torrid zone. Number 2, temperate zone. And third, the frigid zone. So today we are going to get the brief learning about the frigid zone. Let us set learning objectives of part 1. So today's learning objective would be, we will know something about frigid zone and also learn about the extent of the frigid zone. Then we would study about the climate of this zone, that how it is different from other 2 zones. So today's learning objectives would be knowing about the extent of frigid zone and also knowing about the climate of this zone. Students, you must have heard the song Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. I think you all must have learnt as a nursery rhyme during your nursery classes. If you have forgotten, let us hear it one more time and then we will discuss about where these reindeers are found.
Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer had a very shiny nose, and if you ever saw it, you would even say it glowed. All of the other reindeer used to laugh and call his name. They never let poor Rudolph try many reindeer games. Then one foggy Christmas Eve, Santa came to say, Rudolph, with your nose so bright, won't you cut my sleigh tonight? Then all the reindeer loved him as they shouted out with glee. Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer, you'll go down in history. Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer had a very shiny nose, and if you ever saw it, you would even say it glowed. All of the other reindeer used to laugh and call his name.
Children, do you remember this song of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer? I hope you must have remembered by now. Children, do you know where reindeers are found? They are found in the frigid zone. There are 2 frigid zones, one in each hemisphere. The northern frigid zone lies between the Arctic Circle 66.5 degree north and the North Pole 90 degree north, while the southern frigid zone lies between the Antarctic Circle 66.5 degrees south and the South Pole 90 degrees south. As the name suggests, the places near the poles are permanently covered by ice and are frozen throughout the year. The continent of Antarctica is the coldest place in the world and it lies in the southern frigid zone. It is also known as the frozen continent. Large parts of Canada, Alaska, Scandinavia, coastal Greenland, Iceland and Siberia falls in this region. The area around the poles are sparsely populated due to severe cold and lack of vegetation. But many expeditions have been taken to these places for exploration. Means people come here for a short time to explore this zone and they go back. So these regions are polar regions and those extreme top and extreme bottom of the earth are frigid zones. Children, you can see the picture given on the slide that how earth is divided into three zones. The upper, that is the topmost and the bottommost part, are South Pole and North Pole, which are frigid zones. Excuse me. The two polar regions, which means one on each hemisphere, is in the frigid zone, as I said. Since these regions are permanently covered with ice and snow, they are called the tundra regions. Greenland is a country in the northern frigid zone near the North Pole and it is the world's largest island. In the same way, as I told you earlier, Antarctica is the coldest place in the world, but it is in the southern frigid zone. So the whole continent of Antarctica is in the frigid zone. Let us know about the north frigid zone. If we talk about a particular place called Greenland, which is a very big place in the northern hemisphere, it is only 650 kilometers away from the North Pole. It is an autonomous territory of Denmark. I hope you all know that Greenland has been a part of Denmark since 1950s. The nearest continent to Greenland is North America. The Baffin Bay and the Davis Strait separates Greenland from northern islands of Canada. Greenland covers an area of 21.5 lakh square kilometer. The terrain is mostly a flat but gradually sloping ice cap that covers all land except for some mountainous, barren or rocky coast. The Greenland ice sheet has lost more than 10 billion tons of ice a year since 2003 according to the Nature Climate Change Study. Children, we have been talking about global warming in our previous videos also. So due to global warming, these ice caps or these sheets of ice are going on melting since years. If we talk about India, Dras in Jammu and Kashmir has the same condition as that of Greenland. Almost 80% of land is permanently under ice and snow, called an ice cap. These islands look white as I told you, that Antarctica is also known as White Continent. And if we talk about Greenland, it is the part of Northern Hemisphere. About two-thirds of its area lies in Arctic Circle. The average thickness of the ice sheet is around 1500 meters. Sometimes huge pieces of ice break away and slide down to the sea. These blocks are called icebergs. These icebergs keep floating till it melts. And children, do you know that the name Greenland was given to attract settlers to the place from other countries? So this is about the frigid zone, or you can say the polar region. As I said you earlier, that the frigid zones are the polar regions. The northern frigid zone lies between Arctic Circle and North Pole, and the north frigid zone includes some parts in the northern part, that is in the northern hemisphere, some parts of northern hemisphere and northern parts of almost Canada, Alaska, Greenland, Scandinavia and Russia. Whereas if we talk about the southern hemisphere, the whole of the continent of Antarctica is in the southern hemisphere, and that is the South Pole region, which is frigid zone. I hope children now you are clear that frigid zone is on both the sides of the earth, that is above the equator, that is the topmost part of the earth, North Pole, and also in the southern part, that is the bottommost part of the earth, and that is South Pole. So northern frigid zone and southern frigid zone. So there are two frigid zones on both the hemispheres of the earth. I hope you are clear with the frigid zone and its extent and location. Now let us know something about the climate experienced on both the sides of the earth. Let us know about the climate experienced in frigid zone. Both the northern and the southern frigid zones are far from the equator and receive the slanting rays of the sun only when it is summer in each hemisphere. Because of the slanting rays of the sun and both the frigid zones are far from the equator, there is not even enough of warmth or the rays received to warm the land. Winters are very severe and temperature may drop to -40 degree. In summer, the temperature may rise to 3 degree and 12 degree. Rainfall may range from 15 to 30 centimeter in a year. Now, do you want to see the peculiarity of the frigid zone? Let us see the peculiarity of the frigid zone. During summer, the snow melts, but the ice caps of the Arctic and Antarctic regions remain intact. The polar regions have a peculiarity. During summer, there is continuous daylight even at midnight. And in winter, these regions have continuous darkness. In June, when the northern frigid zone receives continuous light, the southern frigid zone have continuous darkness. This situation will reverse in December. I hope children you have understood that because of the tilt of the earth, and because of the revolution happening, the northern hemisphere, when the northern hemisphere is facing towards the sun, the southern hemisphere is away from the sun, and due to that reason, that during summer it has means the frigid zone has continuous daylight even at midnight, and in winter it has darkness even at the daytime. So this is the situation of the polar regions because it is at the extreme part of the earth. Now, do you want to see the beautiful sky of frigid zones at night? Let us see and know about the sky of frigid zones at night. Sometimes the sky is lit up by aurora borealis in the northern hemisphere and aurora australis in the southern hemisphere. Children, they are naturally occurring bright lights that are usually observed at night in the polar regions. They are caused, you must be wondering, no, that how these polar regions have such light at night, but they are caused by the collision of charged particles from the earth's atmosphere. Means when they dash with each other, such bright lights occur in the polar regions. Children, just observe this light on your screen and imagine the nature at its best. Isn't it very beautiful looking light which is naturally occurring in the polar regions? So this is the gift of nature to these regions. Let us know some fact about the northern lights. Seeing the northern lights in all their vivid glory nears the top of many travelers' bucket lists. But what many people don't realize is that the southern hemisphere has an incredible atmospheric light show of its own that's just as captivating, called the Southern Lights or Aurora Australis. It's the southern cousin of the aurora borealis and can best be seen from the most southern of land masses such as Tasmania, New Zealand, and Antarctica. Let us know some fact about southern lights. Just like the northern lights, the southern lights occurs when electrically charged solar particles and atoms in the Earth's atmosphere collide with gases like oxygen and nitrogen, causing those gases to emit light. Auroras happen in ovals around the planet's two magnetic poles, which is why the farther north or south you are located, the likelier you are to experience one of these impressive light displays. Isn't it very amazing? As I said earlier, nature at its best. Let us know about some of the interesting fact of the climate of frigid zone. Climate of this region is characterized by cold winters and cool summers. Winters are characterized by continuous darkness, cold and stable weather conditions and clear skies, whereas summers are characterized by continuous daylight, damp and foggy weather, and weak cyclones with rain or snow. Now, if we talk about Antarctica, that is the southern frigid zone, Antarctica is the highest continent with an average elevation above sea level of almost 2,300 meters. Antarctica is the coldest and the windiest continent of the earth. 98% of Antarctica is covered with ice and contains 70% of the world's fresh air. I hope you all must have enjoyed knowing about the almost different part of the earth, which is very amazing to know about the facts of that part. Today, actually, we started with hearing a nursery rhyme of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. And after listening to that amazing song, I thought, let me tell you all about where these reindeers are found. And then slowly I thought of talking about the different part of the earth, that is the different zone, that is frigid zone. So today we found out about the extreme parts of the earth, North Pole and the South Pole. We studied about the northern frigid zone and the southern frigid zone. We talked about some of the parts of northern hemisphere, that is nearing to the North Pole. Then we studied about the southern part of the earth, and that is the continent of Antarctica. Then we discussed about the peculiarity of the climate experienced in both the frigid zones. And then we also discussed about the sky which lights up by aurora borealis in the northern hemisphere and aurora australis in the southern hemisphere. They are the naturally occurring bright lights in this region, which is almost like the light shows which we see in many of the places, but they are artificially created lights. These frigid zones see these lights or experience these lights naturally. Wasn't it amazing to know about the frigid zone? So children, this is all about today's learning. In our next learning, we will know about some other facts of frigid zones like plant life, animal life, etc. So we end up here with today's learning. See you soon with another learning video and some exciting facts about the frigid zones of the earth. So thank you and stay safe. See you soon with another learning video. Till then, keep learning.